Mr. Phillips. How you doing today?
All right, and yourself?
I'm doing all right. I have a couple questions I want to ask you, if you don't mind answering them.
Sure.
All right. First question is, what made you decide to open up your business, Genesis Automotive?
The fact of actually having my own business and being an entrepreneur in itself, to become more diversified and have the free will to do as I want and make more money.
Okay. What drives you on a day-to-day basis to continue to work on cars of this nature?
Well, I've always done it since I was actually, 15, 16. I'm actually 35 now, and I've always had a knack for it. So because of the fact that I'm good at what I do, it's kind of like the saying goes, if you do what you like, you never really work a day in your life.
Okay. Who or what was the inspiration to start up your business?
Seeing my mother, my father, my father had his own businesses, my mother has a few things she does, and other siblings and other friends have their own, business itself is what led me to do this, besides the fact of, having the mindset for the future to have money put away without worrying about working for someone else.
Okay. Did you start this business by yourself? Did you have a partnership?
For this particular business, it is a partnership. It's a LLC, a legal license, limited liability corporation, and there are 4 partners of which I'm the main, stockholder, the majority partner, basically.
Okay. So, seeing that you have this business and you had a business plan, how much time, money, and planning did it take before deciding to open up this business?
Surprisingly, to open this business, it only took us about $400 somewhat to start. We just went in from that point and continuously added as we needed. It's not something that you have to. Starting a business is not something you have to dump $1 million in at one time. If you know what you're doing, you can start it overnight and build on it every month, and it'll work out fine.
Okay, so when you're finding your business, right, what made you choose your location?
Location for my particular business, which deals in OEM parts, aftermarket parts, and stock parts itself. OEM aftermarket and performance parts. We had to find a location that was beneficial for us as far as supply and demand in the area, and also for ease of use to the customer to find our location. The next thing that played a factor in was that wherever we were doing it, we had the actual commercial area where we're not going to get or affect residential customers. So that was the biggest thing that played a factor in where we picked up our location at.
Okay. How did you obtain the startup capital of your business? Was it just simple funds, like you guys had money laying around? And
No, it was never as easy as money laying around because everyone had a family or doing something or was trying to start out. We actually worked our butt off. We worked our butts off in the first couple months. We saved, any little odds and ends jobs that we can do here and there. We did them. And this wasn't around the time of income tax, so it wasn't having that luxury of having an income tax check returned to you. So it was pretty much just us working, saving the money, and then pooling it together to get the business started, especially with the licensing, the zoning, having to have the proper items within the shop to be cleared by code to actually open the shop.
Okay. So going back to partnership, right?
Yep.
Do you find that it is harder to do a partnership or easier to do a partnership?
It's actually very easy to do a partnership once you have the right partners in the partnership. If you don't have partners who have the same mindset as you or have the same drive, that's when it becomes difficult. Because at that point in time, you're now doing it for yourself and by yourself. There is no simple way of actually having a business and you're the only one running it unless you all have the same or on the same page when you're running the business.
Okay. So when you were first starting your business, I know it was probably kind of rough just putting your name out there. How, what, and when do you advertise and promote your business?
For me, in particularly within the company, I already had clientele because I was doing it, like I mentioned, I'd say 10, 12 years prior to opening up the business. But primarily, word of mouth is one of the biggest things that we have. And then we also have social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It carries big because a lot of people are interested in doing the same things with their vehicle, but they want a shop that they can trust. And of course, the word of mouth goes hand in hand with that because when someone's telling them who they can go to, who's a trustworthy location, they're going to come.
Okay. So, did your company have a website starting out, or does it have a website now?
Yeah, we did not have a website starting out. We have a website now, in which case we're still probably we're tweaking that a little bit more and more every day. It does play a factor, but then again, it doesn't, because right now this is the age of social media. People want to go ahead and see about, ordering things, but they want to talk to the person who's doing it for them. They don't want to just order parts and not know what they're ordering.
Okay. So for your customers that are out there that follow you on social media, right? Do they get more incentives following you, or just pretty much it's just reliability?
I would say both. The incentive would be they know exactly who they're dealing with, and also they can come and speak to us. We're not someone who's going to be like, no, we're too busy, call back on this day, or we don't have time for it. If you contact us on social media, you actually are dealing with the individuals who are working on your car. You're not dealing with an assistant or a secretary. You're dealing with the person who knows exactly what you need to have done.
Okay, okay. And I know this is of a time where it's mainly technology driven. Is there any technology that you use to run your business?
Yeah, technology's around us all the time, really. We all of our phones actually use the WhatsApp for the guys who are in the shop if we have any kind of changes or something that has to take place. Rather than trying to text on an individual basis, we use the WhatsApp app itself. We also, of course, use the social media to say when we have special events going on, especially like this weekend, we have our Dyno Day, which is an event that we have our hold every, maybe twice a year to have a lot of people come out and show their horsepower in their cars. We have giveaways, prizes, stuff like that. But not to stray. But technology plays a part in everything that we do, whether it be the simple tools that we use to service a vehicle or just communicating with the customer.
Okay. So, just kind of curious, right? If there was ever a internal external theft in your business, how would you deal with it?
Don't really have that major issues. Normally with those kind of situations, it's pretty much deterred because we do have a lot of security, but at the same time, we don't just have random people in our shop. If you're within the shop and you're within the group and you have one of our shirts on, that means you're trusted, which really and truly in this day and age is a very hard thing to have and to find. So it's not really a factor for us, and like I mentioned, we do have security cameras. If something is missing, we can go back and review the videotapes.
Okay, so what do you think the most important quality of your people around you is? Just trust, or
You have to have trust in the people that you deal with. You have to make sure that you're all on the same page and that you're driven, because it's like the saying goes: you're only as strong as your weakest link.
which is true. So, how do you go about hiring people? Like, what are some qualities you look for when you hire people?
In hiring an individual, basically you have to have knowledge, you have to have patience, you have to have people skills. If you can't have people skills, then you can't pretty much be here, because this is a face-to-face, person-to-person deal.
Okay.
There is no, well, I'm going to sit in the back and I don't want to talk to somebody kind of situation. It doesn't work like that. So
Okay.
those are mandatory assets that we need within that person,
Okay.
or characteristics.
Okay, so I know owning a business takes a kind of a toll on your family from time to time. How has your business impacted your family?
Well, it definitely can take a toll on your family, for one, because of the fact of time. When you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, you have to put a lot of time into it to get it off the ground. The main thing that you have to do and focus on is making sure that your significant other understands what's going on. Get them involved in what you're doing so they see that you're not just at your place of business, fooling around or BSing, because a lot of people will not understand how much time and effort goes into this until they're actually there and see it for themselves. But communication is number one factor.
Okay, so speaking of family members and stuff like that, how do you decide among interested family members who want to play a role in the business?
Going forward, never mix family and business and friends. You leave those two separate. If you're going to hire someone, you hire them as the fact of they're going to be an employee. Because of the fact when you hire in family or friends, it has a tendency where they become complacent, which means that they just don't feel that it's necessary for them to do the work that they need to do to get the job going.
Okay, so I can only assume that you were very hesitant when if you were ever hiring family members, right?
Yeah, that's not happening anymore.
Okay. There's some quick questions also. What kind of day-to-day things do you have to do to keep your business successful?
Wow. Basically, it's the monitoring of the accounts. It's making sure that everyone has the tools that they need to function in the job. It's making sure you're keeping base or touching base with the customers. It's basically, how like police officers have what's called policing the area or the neighborhood? That's basically to have contact with the individuals who they're dealing with, their neighborhood. For the shop, it's pretty much us just dealing with our customers on a one-on-one basis to where they're comfortable. You can't go to some place and not know who you're dealing with and feel comfortable leaving your car with them.
Okay.
You may see a car from one person who's like a 1987 car. You may think, oh, well, that's nothing. But to that person, that's their life. So you have to have an understanding as far as how that person feels about their vehicle, and at the same time being able to talk to them knowledgeably and with respect to where they're comfortable talking to you.
Okay. So, what is the worst experience you've had while operating your business?
Oh, boy. I had a customer come in and he chewed me out for a delivery company who's a third party, which I have nothing to deal with, taking long with his tires, and threatened to take me to court for the tires being late.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff right there. And what is the best advice you can give someone starting out a business?
Never give up on yourself, and never let anyone deter you from doing what you want to do. That's number one. No one will ever have the same drive that you have, but once you do have that drive and you have that focus on what your goal is, whether it be a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, or a 5-year, even a 10-year plan, stick to it.
Okay. And what is the future of your business?
Big. Lots of expansions, maybe even 1 or 2 locations, but that's further down the line.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for your time and your patience, and have a nice day.